couple minutes here to hop on. And we'll give it maybe just 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes past the hour, so everybody can hop on and join us today. And then when we're ready, we will get going here. Welcome to everybody hopping on. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes here. And then we can get started. Just let some more people hop on here. Right. All right. Well, it is 1 minute past, so let's get started. Awesome. So hi, everybody. Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. I'm Kat. I'm Jotform Enterprise's Director of Customer Success. And today, as it says on the screen, we're going to be talking about using the Jotform mobile app and building on our last session together. So we walked just through the mobile app itself together last time. You can always access that in our Lunch and Learn playlist on YouTube, but you don't need to have kind of that background information before this, although it is nice to have. We're going to go through some use cases. We're going to explore the Enterprise mobile app as an admin. And then, of course, I'm going to reserve some time for questions towards the end of our session. So please feel free to submit your questions via the Q&A section here on Zoom, and we'll get to them as much as possible towards the end. So I do also want to note before we get going that the server that we'll be logged into within the app is not a HIPAA environment. So please note with that, there are several differences between HIPAA and non-HIPAA environments. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more aligned to HIPAA, you can always join us for our next session, or you can always contact our sales team and we'll have that information towards the end of the presentation. Also note that the screencast that we'll be viewing in a sec here has been pre-recorded on an iPhone 15 with the Enterprise app updated to the latest version at the time of filming here. But I'm live, I'm here to walk us through it. And like I mentioned, I'm going to answer questions towards the end of the session. So with that said, let's just jump right in. So as you can see, as I mentioned, this was pre-recorded. This fun little bar at the bottom will go away once we dive in. So this first screen here will be for those who are not yet logged into your server on the app. But let's talk about the importance of logging into your server and downloading the correct app. So a reminder that this is the Jotform Enterprise app and that users would not be able to access your server if they download the Jotform app. From here, we're going to enter in our server and we're going to continue to our login screen. I'm already logged into the app on our demo server. Please also note that I am an admin here. So what you'll see first is the landing page when you log in. This is the My Forms page. Now, these are the forms that you as an individual user own, but you can easily get to forms within a team by selecting All Forms and then My Teams. All right, so we're going to work within the Nonprofit Heroes team today. So again, My Teams, Nonprofit Heroes. And once we get into that team, we're going to use the Pause for a Cause form as our focus. So we have several different options that pop up when we tap on our form in the app. As we can see, we could edit the form directly. We could assign the form to those who want to fill it out. We could analyze our submission data, open the form in kiosk mode, which we went through in our last session. We could toggle offline mode on, and of course, other options that we see on the screen now. So let's try toggling offline mode on. And now we can see that we receive a message that this form isn't available in offline mode. Now, this is important to note. Not all forms are immediately available in offline mode. Now, this can be due to multiple reasons. We can see here that this lists out the direct fields that aren't available. In this form, we would need a connection to be able to process payments collected on the form. Most commonly, payment integrations, GPS location widgets, widgets that connect to third-party applications, Jotform sign, anything that you would need an internet connection, especially, are not fields that are compatible with offline mode. So let's say we want to enable offline mode if we get this message. And we're like, well, that's okay. We want this form to be available. We'll make a note of those fields, and then we're going to edit our form. So this is where we access the form builder. Many of the actions and abilities we have in our desktop version are available. As you saw, we can design the form, we can format it, we can add different elements. All we have to do is tap on the field that we want to remove, and then we're going to select the trash icon. I'm obviously not going to delete the field in this case, but if we did want to remove the field, just please note that any data in this field has previously collected would be deleted along with it. So let's say that we're going to go ahead and delete this. You'll see that we would lose the associated submission data. All right. Now, since we're already in the builder, let's just take a quick tour. With this field selected here, you'll notice that we can access the field's properties and we can adjust them as necessary. Of course, if we want to get out of the screen, we're going to have to go up and click that X. And then we also can see the conditions that are associated with that field. So in this case, we can see that we have a show hide condition we can edit, clone, disable, delete if we wish. And of course, if we tapped on that condition by mistake, we can just tap away from it and it'll be just deselected. So let's get into our form settings. You'll notice this looks pretty familiar to what we see on our desktop builder. It's just mobile responsive. Now we can even access and edit our approval flows from here. So if we get into the approval flow, we'll notice that we have a pop-up square on the bottom right-hand corner for easy fingertip navigation around the approval builder. Now, this is especially handy if you have a complicated workflow. So let's say that I want to get close up and see what one of my elements is. It'll do it in a second here. I can just navigate around. And then I can go there. If we get the viewfinder again, we'll see exactly where I am in the approval flow. Super handy for that easy mobile navigation especially. All right, let's head back into our team workspace. So now we're going to want to get into our submissions. I'm going to head into the tables for this particular form, but keep in mind that you can access all tables for this team from that top dropdown. All right, so let's get into our form. We're going to click Show in Tables and our table will load. As we view the table, you can see that the table looks similarly to how it does in our desktop view. Of course, we can tilt our phone as long as we're responsive there to see it in full. But if we go back and clicked on submissions, we can still view our submission data, but this time we have our inbox view. Now, this is up to you for what works best for your use case, but some of our customers do prefer to view and manage their submissions within the inbox on their mobile devices, especially. All right, now this is one of our most common use cases for our customers using our mobile app. Accessing, analyzing, and completing submission-related tasks as it pertains to approvals, especially. So let's think about, we're on the train, we're commuting, we need to fulfill some of these tasks, but you don't want to bring out your full laptop on the train. So you'll need to use your phone or tablet. This makes it super easy. So we click into one of our submissions, we can view the submission in its entirety vertically. And as we scroll, we can see that there are incomplete approval tasks that need to be addressed by us in order to move the submission along in the flow. I'll need to approve here. And based on the approval element added, I can sign by just typing, or I can draw my signature with my finger. Of course, that's not my real signature. Once we approve that, we'll be able to see the progress in this particular submission too. So you can see that I have gone ahead and approved. All right, plus if we navigate back to the inbox view, we can filter and we can sort our submissions. And if we really want to whittle down our inbox to make it as easy as possible to manage, we can adjust the view settings by clicking on that gear icon in the top right-hand corner. And so from there, we can even decide which fields show for optimal viewing. Okay, so we're approving and grooving with our submission data at our fingertips, but let's say that we have an active form with time-sensitive data that needs to be reviewed almost as soon as the submission comes in. So we're going to need to adjust our app settings to make sure we're getting notifications. You can do this from any screen within the app by clicking on that gear. Tap on notifications, and then we're going to ensure that we have the new submission notification toggle set to on. Now, also, please make sure that your device notification settings allow for notifications from the Jotform Enterprise app. That's super important. So when we receive a new submission, we're going to get the notification that our action is required. Once we click on that notification, we'll be taken right back to the inbox to manage that submission and complete our task. But what happens if we if we're like, okay, I want to report. I want to see a visual on what's happening with across all submissions. Now you'll notice that when we go back here, there's no option in our dropdown for reports like there is for approvals or signed documents, but we are able to create and view visual reports in our tables view. So when we can, let's click back into tables, or I guess I should say tap back into tables since we are on our mobile view. Show in tables, and you'll see that we already have a visual report here that we can view. We can edit and add slides within. We can scroll through, and again, what we want to do is tilt our phone, or we can also create a new visual report in the new table tab. So it's basically exactly like you would do it within your desktop. This is all mobile responsive. And again, it's better to kind of tilt it to have that full view. We can also publish and share the report if we need to on the fly. Okay, let's talk about another common use case, how to manage the server as a server admin from the mobile app. Of course, to be able to do this, you'll need to actually be a server admin, and you can always double check if you're an admin by clicking back into our admin settings, selecting account type, and then you'll see that I'm listed as an admin there. Now, before I get into the admin console, since we're in this screen, let's talk about offline forms. Please note that this only controls the status of your offline forms for your own forms or forms that are within a team that you are a team admin on. You can toggle on offline forms here just by tapping quickly instead of doing this one by one within the actual form itself, like we saw before. So you can see I'm toggling these on, and if any of those forms aren't available in offline mode, it will let you know here, and it'll also say, hey, are you sure you want to disable this? But let's hop into the admin console. So on the desktop, the landing page that appears by default is our dashboard, and that gives us a snapshot into what's happening on our server in different time increments. It's the same thing on the app. But let's navigate to our drop-down menu, and we're going to chat through some useful tabs, although in my humble opinion, all these tabs are useful. But let's say that currently, okay, join me. We are on a business trip. We are abroad, and we're sitting in the back seat of an Uber Plus with the perfect music and lovely air conditioning. Are you with me here? All right, now that we're relaxing in our Uber, we get a call from our team that says, hey, we haven't received emails notifying us of a donation from one of our biggest and most important donors after they donated yesterday. It's extremely time sensitive. So we're gonna ask our Uber driver to turn down that music. We'll put our team on speakerphone and we will get into the app and our admin console. We're gonna click on the system logs option, and from here, we can select the correct date increment. Yesterday, of course, the time of filming, this was today. But that's all the information that we have for now. You can always utilize the search feature above or the other drop downs. As we can see here, we can also search if custom integrations fired successfully alongside our emails. All right, so nothing failed. No results for the fail filter here. But let's take a look at successful emails. And here we have it, even down to the submission ID. This really helps us to take a look at what went wrong. It's successfully sent from our system. So the emails might be in somebody's spam folder, or perhaps there's an issue internally that IT needs to work out to ensure deliverability. Similarly, if we go back to our drop-down menu here shortly, we can, if we need to do a quick audit of user activities, say data goes missing or a form has been purged that shouldn't have, and we're not near our desktop, we can track down the user who may have deleted the data in error via the activity log. You can see that we have multiple different activities. We can search by users, time increments, and we even have text search there. All right. Finally, another use case that we encounter most frequently from admin users in particular is visibility and management of server support requests. As you can see here, you're able to submit a ticket to our team. You can schedule a Zoom meeting with one of our fabulous customer success managers. Just tap on that schedule a Zoom meeting. It's going to bring it up for us here. Or we can check on the status of current requests. As admins, we can also click into the tickets to check what's happening in there, respond to the tickets if we'd like. as well. So it's going to take us here, and you can see that we have access to this ticket to see what's going on. And then, of course, from our support tab here, we can also see the status. We can also manage the aesthetic and other managerial feel user experience of the actual server itself. We can change the look. We can even customize our user experience if we have, say, single sign-on, IP address restrictions, or SMTP. All right, we're in our form settings here. The sync your data here that I've just tapped on is important when you're utilizing offline forms. You can ensure that any data collected offline is synced when reconnected via data or Wi-Fi, depending on your settings. Another important area to pay attention to if you or your users are experiencing any issues with the app is the version of the app. And unfortunately, it's cut off at the bottom there, and now I've just covered it. But you'll need to ensure that it's been upgraded to the most recent version of this, as this can, in some cases, cause app issues. So this is also an important thing to note if you open a support ticket in regards to issues with the app. The more information that you can provide to our support team about the app's version, your device type and version, the better. All right, so as you can see, that is the end of our pre-recording. But like I mentioned, I am live here on the line. So let's make sure that we get to some questions before our time together is over. As with most things, Jotform Enterprise, there is so much more that you can do with the mobile app. These are just a few use cases and tips and tricks that we commonly see with our current users. All right, let's take a look. Here, how would our users know the difference between the Jot app and the Jotform app to make sure they're logging in correctly? So when you're downloading it from the App Store or from the Google Store, it has a different logo. So the Jotform Enterprise mobile app will have the Enterprise pencil for the Jotform there, and then Jotform will have the more colorful one. It'll also be exactly as it is, a Jotform Enterprise mobile, and then it'd just be Jotform for the regular app. The reason I bring that up is because we do find that quite a bit in our troubleshooting. They're like, but they don't know how to access the server, or we can't find this form. It's probably because they might be using just the wrong app. Is there a desktop version? So the desktop version would just be your enterprise server. This just is meant to replicate your server experience on your mobile device. All right. Okay, cool. I see another question here. Yes, my apologies. I did look a little bit pixelated on the video there, and apologies for kind of cutting it off when I decided to hover over that as well. Is there any extra cost for the Jotform Enterprise mobile app? No, there's no extra cost for this one. Of course, this is our publicly available Jotform Enterprise mobile app. For Jotform Enterprise, you do need to have a server to be able to log in and all of that. But yeah, no extra cost for this app in particular. Okay. Is there any okay, is there any ETA on when reports might be available on the app? So if you're talking about reports that like you're able to access in your desktop, say like HTML table, daily digest, any of that, we do have that as a pending feature request. I don't know where we are with that on the roadmap for right now. But I can certainly revisit that. And then, of course, if you are already an enterprise user and you haven't submitted a ticket for feature requests for that, please do. We can certainly escalate that to our engineering team. We can't guarantee that it will be implemented, but if and when it is, we'll make sure to let you know. Of course, any report that is already connected to your forms. Like we saw, visual reports we can see within the tables, but just because you're using it on the mobile app and you've set up the reports, let's say the daily digest via your desktop, it doesn't mean that it's going to stop firing. You're still going to get those reports. You're just able to manage them on the desktop app. Okay. Wonderful. So those are all the questions that I see. So thank you so much for being here with me today. On our next session together, it's September the 4th. We are going to be walking through all things HIPAA and Jotform Enterprise. That is not one that you want to miss. Like, please be there. As you know, we always say that, hey, we're working in a non-HIPAA environment. There are changes. This is going to be a fantastic opportunity to learn more about HIPAA and Jotform Enterprise. If you do have any questions that we didn't get to today, please reach out to our enterprise sales team or to our awesome customer support team if you're already an enterprise user. Now that we've gone through support, we should all know how to do that on our enterprise mobile app as well. So super easy there. But you can always find more lunch and learns, webinars, walkthroughs, and quick video guides also on our YouTube channel and our website. We're having some great lunch and learn sessions coming up, and that will build upon each other. So just please ensure that you're registered for those sessions at jotform.com/enterprise/lunch and learn sessions with the appropriate hyphenation. All right, wonderful. I'm going to stop sharing here. Looking forward to seeing you all